Can you believe it's that time of year again? We're going over the 2021 Audioholics Christmas Gift Guide. Hey folks, I'm Gene Delasala with Audioholics. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did, and I know I'll be paying for it at the gym next week trying to shed all those extra pounds. Anyways, I wanted to come up with a gift guide like I do every year to give you guys ideas on what to buy for Christmas or your audiophile friends or yourself, whatever. It was different this year. It was much more difficult this year to come up with a gift guide because of all the supply chain issues. Everything I wanted to put in the gift guide was either out of stock or not available, or inflation was a lot more money than it used to be. So I did a different theme this year. I wanted to put together an entire home theater system for somebody that's just starting out, especially now in the day and age where we're watching more movies at home. We're getting them direct to home, same time basically that they're in the theater. So I put together this system that is really kick-ass. It's got a lot of good components, and the entire thing will cost $4,000 or less. So I think that's really a cool thing that I came up with, that I actually was able to find all this different equipment that's available, that's in stock, and I want to share this with you. So this is on our Audioholics homepage right now, audioholics.com. If you go on the homepage, you can read the editorial, but I figured it'd be fun to go over it with you and give you the reasons why I chose these products. So if you go and look at the article, it's basically here on audioholics.com product awards. First thing I wanted to start off with was if anybody wants to get into vinyl. I know, people are really into vinyl these days, more so now than they've been probably in the last few years. I just see it more and more now. Fluence makes a really good turntable for very inexpensive. It's like $500, and they didn't even raise their prices due to COVID. And we did this review a year or two ago, and Xavier, who's Captain Analog, this guy lives and breathes turntable, said this is a really good platter for the money. It's his new go-to budget turntable. So if you guys want to spin in vinyl, then you want to check out the Fluence RT85 turntable. I put a buy now link in here, and I do get a commission off of Amazon, a couple of bucks here or there. So if you want to support the channel and buy some of the products through these links, we always appreciate that. So to build the surround system, you need a surround receiver. And you guys know I'm a big fan of Denon Marantz. Their stuff just works. I mean, I've bench tested it. It does well on power aspects, distortion, noise, all that stuff, bass management. It's all good. So the 3700, it's a really good product because it has 9 channels of amplification built into it. But you could also do 11 channels of processing. So you could start off now with a 7 or 9 channel speaker system. And then if you want to get up to 11 channels, you just have to add a 2-channel amp. And the cool thing about that is the preamp outputs on these receivers are really good, as we measured, as you've seen in our past reports. But you could buy a really nice 2-channel amp, let's say the Monolith 2-channel amplifier, for example, for $1,000, $1,100. You could power your front speakers with that separate amplifier and then use all the internal 9-channel amplifiers in this receiver to do an 11-channel system. So you could do, 5.2.4 would be your 9-channel system, but you could go all the way to 7.2.4. So that would give you 7 bed layer channels or ear level channels and 4 height channels. So I think that's a really good centerpiece. Now, they did raise the price a little bit due to COVID and supply chain issues. So it's now $1,500. It used to be around $1,200. So there was an increase there. So every year, SVS has basically a Black Friday or a blowout deal on subwoofers, whether it's older models or ones that have excess inventory, whatever the deal might be. And if you want to have really good bass, of course, you're going to need at least 1 subwoofer. Of course, we recommend 2 subwoofers. And SVS has this Black Friday sale. It's a great deal. I mean, because they recently raised their prices due to supply chain issues. So if you're getting last year's model instead of the SB1000 Pro or the PB2000 Pro, it would be the 2000s or the 1000 respectively. And these are still good products. We've measured and reviewed all these products. You can go and look on audioholics.com on our reviews, and you could see, how they measure and the Bassaholic room size rating. And I'm going to recommend, if you're in a small room, you guys can look at, an SB 1000 or a PB 1000. But if you're in a larger room, then I would go to the SB 2000 or PB 2000, and preferably two of them. And I think the SB 1000 starts at like $449 shipped, which is a really good deal. Yeah, you can see that there. And they're doing the PB 2000s. I think they were like $699. Yeah, $699. So there's some good savings there. And, you guys always know that I preach dual subwoofers. There's a reason for dual subwoofers. You do get more low frequency output at the very low frequencies by having two, but you also get better modal distribution in the room, which means you get better seat to seat consistency. And when you get better seat to seat consistency, then you can EQ out the bumps, and it works for all the seats, not just for one seat. So then you get good bass in all your seats, and you want to share the whole home theater experience with your family, with your friends. Get two subwoofers if you budget it. And these SVS subs are a good deal. So a new speaker line that just debuted, and we have in for review right now, is the Monoprice Encore Series. These look really incredible. I mean, this is some real good engineering here. That really large waveguide on the tweeter means good things. That means it's going to have very controlled off-axis response that matches the response of the mid-range. So you get a much better integration with the woofer and the tweeter, and your early reflections will be better preserved at the listening area, translating to more consistent sound. So it's a more predictable speaker in a real room. These look like awesome speakers. In the past, Monoprice has done some really good work with their THX speakers, but they weren't very sightly. The one thing about the Monoprice stuff is it's high value, high performance, but the aesthetics obviously suffer because of price. These actually look good. These look like an Arendelle sound speaker, kind of very similar kind of look. Obviously, it doesn't have quite as good build quality, and maybe the drivers aren't up to that level either. But you're not going to find a pair of speakers or a speaker system that's going to exceed the performance of these from what we're seeing so far. So their towers, the T6 towers are $399 each. That's $800 a pair. That's a lot of speaker for the money. The center channels $249 each, and the bookshelves are $179 each. You got a lot of players at this price points, but very few can perform at this level from what we're seeing. This is a solid recommendation. You get at least five of these speakers. Get the towers up front. Get the center channel. Get the surround speakers. This system is going to cost you under $1,500 for a 5-channel system. That's just wind the clocks back 10 years ago. You couldn't have gotten this level of performance for such little money. So that's quite an achievement. So now, of course, if you're going to do Atmos, we always recommend discrete speaker placement. I prefer in-ceiling speakers. Obviously, the bouncy house stuff is a last resort kind of thing. So in-ceiling speakers are your way to go. I prefer putting them as tops as opposed to front and rear heights. There's a lot of advantages to that, especially for the Atmos format. And I found in the Audioholics Smart House, we put a bunch of different in-ceiling speakers from various companies, and I was blown away by the sound quality of the Definitive Technology ones. And these aren't that expensive. They're $199 each. So you could start with two of them if you want to do a 5.2.2 system. Or you can get four of them, and you can have 5.2.4, and you would have four speakers in the ceiling. It's really dependent on, what you're able to accommodate in your room. How much seats do you have? If you have 2 rows of seats, I would definitely have 4 Atmos speakers. But even still, I still like having front and rear tops. So if you can do 4 in the ceiling, I really recommend it. But if you can't, 2 is fine. 2 Atmos speakers is better than no Atmos speakers, especially when they're discrete. So that's a killer little speaker system right there. You're getting, just to recap, you get the Denon receiver. You get at least 1, preferably 2 SVS subwoofers. And I would recommend, really, if you're a bass head, the PB2000s are the way to go. But if you're space constrained, then, an SB2000 will certainly give you great performance. And then you're going to have to get some sources here. You're going to have to be able to watch TV. Blu-rays are kind of out now. hardly anyone's making Blu-ray players anymore. And let's be honest, we're doing a lot more streaming now than we've ever done. In fact, I would say 90% of the viewing I do now is through streaming. Whether you get an Apple TV or a Roku, they're both solid choices. I put the Roku here because it's a little bit more affordable. Really good performance out of this thing. I enjoy it. 4K HDR, Dolby Vision, and just the ability to stream all your stuff. It's very responsive. The sound quality is good. It passes Atmos. The video quality is awesome. I mean, just to get a streaming box like this now, like it was like a pipe dream again a decade ago. So that's what I would recommend, that you get this whole system. It's under $4,000. And I would get these little Squid Game cookies, or the Korean dalgona. They're not really a cookie. They're a sponge cake or a sponge candy. Anyways, did you guys watch Squid Game? I kind of would like your opinion on that. I watched it over the Thanksgiving break with my daughter, and it was a little shocking to me. I guess just being so casual about death and people getting shot like all the time. I mean, I don't know. I like the story. I like the depth of the characters. Some of the gore looks so ridiculously fake that it doesn't bother me. But I guess just the idea of what's happening in the show. It's a very interesting show. The Koreans are really coming out with some quality entertainment. I don't know if you guys have seen The Train to Busan, but that's one of my favorite. I think that's one of my favorite zombie movies. And the whole thing is in subtitles, Korean subtitles. But the acting in it is really, for a zombie movie, is pretty good. And the story is pretty good. So anyways, guys, I hope you find this gift guide useful. If you buy this whole system, please let us know. Give me comments down below. If you're surprising your loved one, if you're a last minute shopper looking for some speakers for your husband or your wife or whatever, when you get these, let me know how you like the performance of them. We're going to be doing a full review of this speaker system real soon. And stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, or about a week and a half or so, I'm going to be doing the 2021 Product of the Year award winners. We do that every year based on the best products that we reviewed, direct feedback from us on what we thought was great for 2021. And good luck shopping. It's not easy right now with the supply chain issues. Stay safe. And until next time, my friends, keep listening.